YouTube, what's up? Back again for another video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Guys, today we're going to talk about why reaction style baits are almost completely gone on Bassmaster. Now, this is kind of a joke, it's kind of a ploy, but we're going to talk about canceled days and how being a fair weather tournament angler is more adaptive on the Bassmaster Open trail than being somebody that can go fish in any condition. You know, I've heard Rick Clunn talk about it a lot of different times, especially on the Elite Series when he was there, talking about how it had changed so much from when he started to where it is now. And the reason I bring the Bassmaster Opens up, you know, I mean, I'm not just attacking Bassmaster, the Opens themselves, but the Central Opens are Division 1 of the Opens. I'm not really sure exactly what they're called. Now I've had 2 one-day tournaments, and they've at least canceled a day. And is it every single event that they've had? I'm pretty sure it is. I know that Rayburn was a one-day, Norfolk was a one-day, Kentucky Lake had a day canceled. Yeah, and now Leech Lake has a canceled day. And the significance behind this is pretty big. And so what a lot of people don't understand, and especially if you don't fish the Opens or if you've never fished the Opens or fishing these multi-day events, is anytime you have a canceled day, it changes completely your game plan. Because, you know, you might have one game plan one day, you know, where you're like, all right, well, I'm going to survive today. I'm going to go fish the wind. I'm going to go throw a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, whatever it may be, to try to adapt to whatever the condition is. And then the next day is going to be a really good day. And if I combine the 2 days, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You get it, right? Well, that's gone. Going out there and practicing for bad weather days is kind of gone. I know, especially when I fish the FLW Tour, you know, we might have a really bad weather day, and you went out there because, let's just say, for instance, that bad weather day was going to match a bad weather day in the tournament, and you're like, you know what, I need to figure out how to catch them today because it'll translate to the event. And back in that time period, they didn't just cancel a ton of days. I mean, they still canceled one here and there, but it would have to be really, really bad to cancel a day. But now, if you fish the Opens, if you have a bad wind day in practice, you don't really even need to go fishing. Because at the end of the day, if that condition arises in the tournament, they're probably going to cancel it. And so now it's almost like become a fair weather tournament trail, to the extent of when I travel to a body of water, I just don't even need to go unless it's just perfect conditions. And I say perfect, I'm going from one extreme to the other. And don't get me wrong, the wind is going to blow. That's the one thing, the one variable that no tournament organization can control. And I understand that those decisions are hard. And I definitely agree with a few of the canceled days that they've had. Whereas some I don't necessarily always agree, and most tournament anglers would not agree with. I just know when I grew up, you know, I'm looking back, golly, like 17 years now, 18 years, God, almost 20 years. That's wild. But fishing all the team trails on Sam Rayburn, and we'd have like a Bass Champs or, golly, Bass and Bucks back in the day, one of those team trails, and we'd go out of the dam at Rayburn. And if it was blowing 25 out of the north, guess what we did? We went. And they would send us, and we would go. And we would drive our boats through that stuff and make it to wherever we were going. Or and I mean, the tournament directors are always pretty smart about it. They're always like, well, we're going to send you, but you don't have to go if you don't want to. Well, of course, anglers are going to be like, yeah, we're going. But I mean, that's just kind of the conditions you dealt with. And so you had to learn how to fish in those. But it's just, at this point, it's just kind of become not doing that. You know, that's one thing that I really value about the NPFL, is that they've sent us a couple of times where it's been a little sketchy. Obviously, we've had to postpone days and move them to the next day, and and things like that due to certain types of conditions. And a lot of times that's lightning related. Really, really big, giant storms coming through that are really dangerous. And I understand from an insurance perspective, and I know somebody's going to comment below like, oh, well, their insurance doesn't allow them to do that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, I understand the danger aspect of it. Hey, you know, I actually had somebody in the open field, I'm not going to name any names, but they said that it was at Sam Rayburn. When they scanned across the field of anglers, they saw aluminum boats, they saw a lot of young, inexperienced anglers, but still, you know, veterans and things like that. And they were worried more about the safety of those because they probably didn't have the experience there to be able to run that body of water. And to me, that's kind of part of the problem is we've created this atmosphere of, well, we need to stay when it's bad and just go when it's good. And in reality, that's not fishing. Fishing is learning how to fish all weather types and conditions and fronts and all these different things. And now, don't get me wrong, what this does is it definitely exposes forward-facing sonar more because it has killed reaction bites. You know, the title of this video is that Bassmaster has officially banned reaction baits, and it's just more of just a funny tag to this but also kind of a reality too, to a certain level, because what they've, you know, whether they've intentionally or unintentionally done is on these windy days, they've eliminated the spinnerbait bite, the chatterbait bite, you know, going down and square billing dams or whatever it may be, you know, cranking. And it's made it a lot harder because those were the days that you went out there and smashed them doing some things like that. And now when we just fish the more, you know, the better days, I would say, the ones where it's a little calmer, nicer weather, that's when you are going to see forward-facing sonar and spinning rods and all these things come back out. So, you know, I'm not going to compare one trail to another because it's apples to oranges. I don't care where you compare it to, whether it be Major League Fishing, to the Elites, to the Opens, the NPFL, to Tackle Warehouse, Invitationals. It doesn't matter. Everybody has their flaws and everybody has their good things. But it's just kind of dawned on me. I mean, I've kind of witnessed it. I've been a part of it. And the unfortunate thing is guys that are driving to these Opens, you know, they're spending a lot of money to win almost no money back on the Opens. Let's be honest. That's just basically where they're at. And they're driving all the way there and then having a canceled day. I mean, I'd be pretty perturbed as well to be able, you know, like to drive to a body of water, especially one as far as Leech is, or, you know, St. Lawrence River or wherever it may be, and to have a canceled day and not just postpone it. I will applaud the NPFL on that. I've never been a part of an organization that has literally moved the days of the event so that we get all days of the event to fish. The only one they didn't do that this year was Eufaula. And I had a conversation with the tournament directors because I was like, why are we not going to do this? Like, you've done it everywhere else. And he goes, Andrew, the parking lot literally will be unusable because the water was coming up at such a rapid pace. And he was exactly right. Like, they weren't going to be able to have a third day on Sunday because there was going to be water across the parking lot, and there absolutely was. So, you know, unusual circumstances like that come up, and it kind of derails some things. But, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I would be just really upset if I made that drive and was not able to fish. I really do feel bad for these guys because they have put so much on the line and, you know, trying to qualify for the EQs. And I've just been a part of that pressure. I've been a part of the stress that the Opens bring. And I hate that we, you know, forward-facing or not, I don't really care. I mean, I think it adds an element to the game. I've used it. I've been successful with it. But I hate it from the aspect that it really, on those days, that's where you're going to see non-forward-facing sonar anglers thrive, and you're not going to get to see that because it's basically been eliminated from competition at this point. So, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all get a chance, make sure y'all like and subscribe. I'm going to really try to post more YouTube videos here in the future. I just dropped Kane off for a second day of school at a new school, so, you know, it's always something going on, right? But until next time, I'll see you on the next video.